In the wet land of South Carolina, where moss falls from trees like old curtains and wind whispers about hidden sins, there is a broken building that was once known as Angel's Rest Chapel. Between the years 1789 and 1832. More than 200 people disappeared after stepping into that place. Records of the chapel were found in 1923 and locked away. Quickly, the writing spoke of a plan wrapped in holy words, but soaked in murder. The Whitworth family, seen as noble by neighbors, were the heads of a secret order called the Order of Fallen Angels. They had turned their land and church into a place where death brought them both money and twisted joy. What follows was hidden for nearly 200 years, but the past can no longer sleep. If you are brave enough to know the cruel side of American history, stay till the end. This tale is not easy. It is dark and deep, but the truth must rise. Now we return to the year 1789, a country newly formed and bleeding from war in the marshy stretch of South Carolina, where water covers fields and rice grows. The rules of life stood as firm as the tides. Gabriel Whitworth, age 43, bought a large piece of land and called it Seraphim's Grace, tall with cold gray eyes and hair like snow. He walked like a king through silence. His voice could fill a room or crush a heart with a single sentence. His wife, Constance, came from old Charleston wealth. Her family built on rice and chains. Her face was soft, her hands unworked, her eyes full of something broken. Their children were each shaped by quiet madness. Ezekiel, 24, was clever but heartless, his grin never real, his thoughts always sharp. Miriam, 22, hid knives behind kindness. Her charm could melt stone, but her words led the lost into traps. The twins, Cain and Abel, 20, stood at the edge of control. Cain was wide-shouldered and silent. Abel was thin and sharp. His thoughts built tools of pain. Lilith, only 16, had her father's stare. She watched everything, her role still forming. Gabriel's brother, Michael, worked the fields for the family. Strong and smart, his wife had died in childbirth 5 years earlier, leaving him with twin girls, Mercy and Grace. Now 13, the girls learned the family path. From a young age, the youngest brother, Raphael, known as Serif, had once studied in Europe. His knowledge of the body made him a tool of both healing and harm. His hands never shook, not even in screams. The Whitworth home stood tall, 3 stories looking over the fields, but their real work happened elsewhere. A chapel, built in 1788, sat nearby, its walls wide enough for 200 people, but only a few ever came. Gabriel had it built with hidden places below. Secret doors behind the altar led to rooms deep underground. No sound escaped the thick walls. Nearby stood a plain building said to hold holy books, but inside was Serif's lab, filled with metal, glass, and quiet horror. The family's order was created that same year, sold to the neighbors as a call to holy renewal. They called it the Order of Fallen Angels. They preached about saving souls through suffering. Gabriel gave speeches so moving they made grown men weep. He said pain was the path to light. The local preacher, Thomas Hartwell, believed him and welcomed the order, even giving Gabriel room to teach people in despair. The plan was far more cruel. Rumors were sent by whisper from Charleston to Richmond, saying Angel's Rest was a place of escape for the broken. The stories reached those trapped in chains. It became known as a place of food and freedom. Secret phrases were passed, and names were whispered. Serif built trust with schools far and wide. Selling bodies for learning, forged papers showed the dead were free. People who died from common causes, money flowed back to the chapel. Michael kept the outer business. Strong crops grew. People saw happy workers. No one asked about the missing slaves or unknown faces seen nearby. The Whitworths looked clean on paper. Inside their sermons, they spoke of destiny, that some souls were already marked for fire, and they were only speeding the path to it. Their belief allowed them to kill while still feeling righteous. Gabriel sat on county boards donated to churches, hosted large meals. The town saw them as saints. During the harvest of 1791, storms crushed crops. People grew desperate. Many ran from their chains that month. 43 arrived at Angel's Rest hungry, and full of hope the family grew sharper. Ezekiel made a system to weigh the worth of each soul. Strong men were held longest for their stories. Mothers were asked about others, and hiding elders were discarded to save effort. Each visit began with Miriam. She welcomed the seekers with warm words. And food, she said, they needed to be checked before moving north. It was for safety, she said. During those soft days, the family listened quietly. Miriam led the talk, making each person feel safe. Gabriel would lead prayers and slip in deep questions. The twins posed as other escapees, gaining trust with tales of false hope. Once the family had what it wanted, the real work began in the basement. Sharif kept bodies living longer than nature would allow. He touched nerves, not bones. He knew how to cause agony without damage. 5 cells, each with chains, held those marked for pain. Their screams never reached the pews above. Abel took notes like a scribe of suffering, matching stories to maps, building files. Gabriel kept a log for each soul. Number of face, a story. The Whitworths used these notes to crush the hopes of many not yet caught. They gave maps to hunters who paid them for names. One tip could bring thousands. The bodies brought more money. Schools paid by the shape and size and age. Sharif packed them in wooden boxes with ice and papers. Lilith, now older, greeted guests with a soft smile. She looked harmless. Her eyes knew more. Cain kept the rooms clean. The tools ready. Abel tracked movement, fed secrets to others. Gabriel built 3 strong links with men who chased the lost. Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina, all tied in one plan. The family gave them leads for a share of the reward. Sharif's notes, sold for learning, were marked with care. No body looked tortured, no sign of harm, only notes full of lies to fool the eyes of doctors. Constance hosted sewing circles, her dresses stitched in gold. Their Sunday prayers never missed. They bowed before the same God they used to kill. By 1795, their reach had grown too wide to track others wanted in. They formed a group called the Southern Redemption Society. Planters, doctors, and even men of God joined. Each gave a cut to the pool. They met each month in secret. Some posed as revivals. They brought news, maps, souls. They caught Dr. Edmund Thorne, used his license to sign off fake deaths. He knew captains who shipped the cold bodies north. Captain Marcus Fulton ran hunters through the wild. His men took whole families when tips came in fast. Reverend Josiah Blackwood wore the robe of a priest. He gave names from his pulpit, prayed over those he helped destroy. Their letters were coded lines that spoke of heaven, told of roots and safe places. Sharif taught others how to twist bodies without scars. Gabriel taught them how to believe in murder. Lilith led women and children to trust her, then gave them away. The twins built tools and chains. Sharif sold strange bodies to schools in Europe and cities in the north. One body earned $100 more if rare. Lilith I now moved like smoke. She touched hearts, then vanished. Men shared secrets, thinking she loved them. The Whitworth Chapel could hold 30 at once. Their fires burned long. The smell of ash floated through the pines. Word of missing people reached the north. Jeremiah Morrison from Philadelphia came to learn why he was a quiet man used to shadows. He had helped many reach safety. He asked around, found patterns. The name Angel's Rest kept coming up. Some reached it and left fast, most never came out. Morrison sent Samuel Washington, a free man with light skin trained for danger. He posed as a runaway using fake papers. He reached Angel's Rest in April. Miriam met him, soft smile, warm food, sweet lies. The chapel was grand. Its windows showed angels killing devils. The altar looked like a throne. Miriam gave him rest, said wait to be sure he met the family. Gabriel prayed over him. Other guests looked broken, no joy in their eyes at night. Samuel heard screams, low and real, in the walls. Others denied it. He knew he had little time. He watched, found the lab, found crates one night. Sharif loaded them with great care. They went to the river, a boat waited, but Abel had seen too much. Told Gabriel they acted fast. Samuel was sent below. To a cell too small, too cold, his hands cut, his nails broken. He heard others talk. Some gave up, some still had hope. Serif came soon, sharp tools, cold hands, soft voice. He asked with no pause, he hurt with no hate. Samuel gave lies mixed with truth. Hoping to buy time, a girl brought food. Grace, only 13, her face unsure. Samuel spoke gently, asked questions, planted seeds of doubt. She began to see him as a man, not a thing. She left the door unlocked one day. He tried to run, but Abel waited with a smile and a gun. Grace's sister, Mercy, had told the truth. He was taken back. The family planned to end him. Gabriel and Serif argued. One wanted more answers. One feared his brain too dangerous. He was to be killed soon. Morrison grew afraid his friend was gone too long. He called others. They planned a rescue. 7 came at dawn. Fog on the river gave cover. A fire was set as a trick. While the family fought smoke, the others reached the chapel. They found 11 alive. Samuel barely breathing, the lab full of death records, maps, letters. Serif wrote about his work like a poet of pain jars, held parts, bodies cleaned for sale. Morrison wanted to run, but Samuel made him stay to grab more proof. They took what they could and fled. The records told of more places in Georgia, in North Carolina. The evil was wide. Gabriel had planned escape paths. He called in favors. Judges, lawmakers, friends. The papers were called fake. The truth silenced. Church leaders said it was lies. The family left, sold the land, moved west to Alabama. Near Mobile, new land, new chapel, better built with more space. The law was weaker. Gabriel gave gifts to men with power, became a councilman. The new chapel could hold 30 deep underground rooms. Wide, strong vents, clean walls. Serif's lab was now full of metal charts and books. The work grew faster. Gabriel became a licensed trader now. He could move people legally. He found those marked as trouble, bought them, sold them, after draining them of stories. Ezekiel found a new way. He bought people, tortured them for maps, then sold them again. Schools still bought the dead now from farther places. New names, new buyers, new markets. Miriam married a captain. His boat moved bodies north. Lilith, now 22, used charm to find targets. She had lovers in every town, judges, traders, even soldiers. The twins ran side trades. Cain built tools. Abel sold rare things to doctors. Serif went beyond death. He cut open minds, tested pain levels like a scholar of suffering. His notes were used by men in Europe. The Alabama home ran 80 souls a year, faster than before. Gabriel had goals. He met planters from other states to spread the plan. Samuel recovered, but never forgot. He built a spy net. From boats and farms he found. Gabriel wanted to build larger places called redemption halls, built to kill dozens a day. Morrison warned the North again. This time he got help. 12 came ready. Some Quakers, some free men. They went as traders. Fake names, fake plans. Samuel led the way. They reached the Alabama land called New Seraphim. It was grand. The house like a palace, the chapel like a crown. Gabriel met them, spoke of business, sold them lies and half-truths, then gave them a tour of his truth. He showed rooms where pain was taught, tools used without shame. Even Constance now joined the talk, her eyes once empty, now calm. Lilith showed how she bound children with a smile. Samuel watched, learned, wrote it all. Gabriel held a meeting. Soon over 30 came from the old society. They spoke of God and gold. Some had fled before. Now they came back, doctors who once signed fake deaths. Now ordered bodies with broken bones. They called it research. Gabriel read from his journal, saying, "The damned must die to make room for the saved." Serif gave a talk on how much pain a man could take before he lost his soul. Morrison moved fast. He called in help. Federal men came armed with orders at dawn. January 15th, 1808. They struck. 1 teen took the chapel, saved 17, the walls wet with blood. Another hit the house, found maps, records, jars of horror. Gabriel's room held a book. Each soul counted, each death written like a hymn of hate. Serif's lab showed Work too evil to name his letters linked to Europe, and beyond many were caught some confessed named others. Gabriel stood proud, even when tied he said he did God's work. Some believed him, trials followed, but the laws were weak. Some judges were. Friends, some records vanished. Gabriel was hanged in 1811. Others fled Serif to Mexico. Reports say he worked on tribes there. Ezekiel and the twins were jailed, then freed by powerful friends. Miriam and Lilith vanished. Some say they killed men in Mexico and sold their bodies. Constance was sent to a home. She never spoke again. The records found force changed the routes. North had to shift. Many helpers went into hiding schools, were shamed. Some banned body sales for years. Samuel told his story in churches. His pain turned to power. He made people see the truth. Morrison kept hunting till he died at 62, haunted by what he saw. The land they left turned to dust. No marker, no stone, just silence. The place where over 1,000 died has no name now, but the story lives. It warns of how faith can twist, how power can rot, how respect can hide monsters. The Whitworth name is almost gone, but their evil echoes. Still, some say more like them lived and died, unknown, lost in time, but not forgotten. What frightens more, that they existed, or that others still wait in shadows. The tale is told, now share it with those who seek truth. If you have heard this to the end, you are one of us. Subscribe, enjoying the Watchers of Dark History. Let no evil hide again.